Well, hey, good morning. Welcome to Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee for June 19th, 2017. I'm Tim Patterson, Trade Show Guy, author of Trade Show Success, 14 Proven Steps to Take Your Trade Show Marketing to the Next Level. Also blogger. That'll become more important during this show at TradeshowGuyBlog.com. Owner of Trade Show Guy Exhibits, a project management exhibit company out of Oregon. So what's going on in the trade show world? Well, a week from today, I'll be doing this podcast live from Las Vegas. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we'll see. It'll be Monday morning, 8 or 9 o'clock. We'll go live and then get the thing posted. But I'm going to the International Food Technologists Show on Monday and Tuesday of next week. I've got a client out there, Maduri Farms, from Dallas, Oregon, that will be exhibiting in a 20 by 20 booth at the show. So I want to see that as well as kind of walk the floor and see what kind of folks I can meet. So that's next week. But today I thought it would be interesting to chat about blogging. Blogging's been a big part of my business life for, 8, 9 years now. Might be fun. A little history first. The term weblog was coined in 1997. The word's creation has been attributed to Jorn Barger, the influential early blogger and blog Robot Wisdom. The term was created to reflect the process of logging the web as he browsed. 1998 marks the first known instance of a blog on a traditional news site when a guy named Jonathan Dubey blogged Hurricane Bonnie for the Charlotte Observer. Weblog, shortened of course to blog in 1999 by a programmer named Peter Merholtz. It's not until 5 years later that Merriam-Webster declared their word of the year. So that's where blog came from. Some of the early platforms for blogging included Open Diary, Live Journal, Zanga, Blogger, Dead Journal, TypePad. I used TypePad for a really brief time. WordPress, which is what I've been using ever since I started this particular blog, the Trade Show Guy blog. MySpace. WordPress launched, by the way, in May of 2003. It took a while to become, the more robust platform that you see today where you can install it on a website and do blogging easily. And even today, there are regular upgrades, updates. There's a huge community that supports WordPress. I've used WordPress for years, probably a decade or more, and started the Trade Show Guy blog in late 2008. I think I actually posted something in December 2008, got the thing registered on the URL, and really started blogging in earnest early 2009. It's safe to say that that's been going on for 8+ years. So why blog? I mean, really, why blog? There's so much other stuff you could do, right? Running a business, which is what I do. Well, my reason came down to a few things. Number one, I like to write. I was curious to see how the whole thing would go. I wanted to keep learning and sharing what I'd learned about trade shows and marketing. At that point, I'd been in the industry, 6 or 7 years, and I wanted to see if it might help build a personal brand of sorts. I don't recall exactly where the name Trade Show Guy blog came from, but in radio, everyone knew me as Gonzo. It's an old, long story from like the 70s. But a couple of guys in the trade show world, and guys that I didn't know, said, "Hey, that's Trade Show Guy." They just called me that because that's what I was doing now. I liked it. It kind of stuck. So that's what I used, and that's, I don't know how many other people are called Trade Show Guy, but it's mine at this point as far as I'm concerned. Some of the challenges and questions that came about from starting a blog, including these. How often should you blog? What kind of content should you put up? Where will it come from? How do you promote it? How long should I do it? What if nothing happens as a result? Nobody reads it. Nobody finds it. You don't tell anybody about it. There's no right or wrong answers to the questions. You just got to figure that out on your own and move along. How often you blog, how frequently you post stuff is a personal answer, even if it's a business blog. And there are tons of different types of blogs, personal blogs, business blogs, to ones that are corporate controlled, to small businesses, to personal branded blogs that represent a specific part of a business, and so on and so forth. So if the blog is to be approached seriously, I think there has to be consideration of how often you should post. How many times have you gotten to a blog only to find the last thing there, the most recent post was months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. I've seen this so many times. You go onto a blog, a company has a blog, and they have a little, on their navigation bar, you click blog, and you go there and you think, oh, let's see what they're doing lately. The last thing is like from July of 2016, and you go, okay, there's not much effort put into this. So if you're going to blog, in my opinion, I think you have to put effort into it. If you're going to do it at all, you should do this. Otherwise, what's the point? And then there are blogs on the opposite end where they have like staffs of writers and articles are posted several times a day. So somewhere in between, when you're an individual blogger or a company blogger, there is the perfect balance for you, or the better balance. Nothing's perfect. In my experience, I've tried quite a few different approaches along the way. A lot of it depends on how much time I have to devote to blogging, along with all the other tasks, and that kind of goes in cycles, comes and goes. I've tried blogging once a week. That didn't generate a whole lot of traffic. I tried blogging once a day, did that for 30 days. I had something on the blog every single day for 30 days. Frankly, it did get more traffic. It just, for whatever reason, the search engines like that more, the more you do. So that was pretty cut and dried. The more often I could do it, the better for the blog and viewership. And so for me, it kind of comes down to 2 to 3 times a week. So we're talking 10 to 15 posts in the space of a month, maybe a little more, maybe 20 if I can do that. And of course, there's a huge mix of content you can do on that. And that to me is what's really great about blogging. You can post audio and video, images, and writing all on the same platform, and they really kind of fit in there seamlessly. So where does all this content come from? Well, so many places. I know some people, and I've done this in the past, you have kind of like a catalog of things you want to write about, and you just keep this. And I know some bloggers have hundreds of things on their list. If I ever get a dozen, that's lucky, because then I use them up and I got to start over again. I have an idea, I write it down, I take a photo, I write it down, something like that. I browse other blogs to see what else is being written about, to get ideas from those. Try my hand at giving my perspective on a topic that others are writing about. So if I'm at a trade show, which happens a few times a year, I'll take photos, I'll write about the show. So you can write about business travel, personal travel, write about the changes you see in the industry, people you make predictions if you want, look back at other people's previous predictions to see how they fared. Other types of blog posts that you can do, case studies, infographics, resource links, links to other blogs, news, problems and solutions. New problems and solutions, comparisons, research, what others are saying, FAQ posts, frequently asked questions, SAQ, should ask questions that nobody are asking, posts, ebooks, special reports, interviews, checklists. There's so many things you can do. So if you're serious about putting together a consistent and helpful and readable blog, there are no end to the types of blog posts and information you can share with readers. So that's kind of where the content comes from. So what does the blog actually do? What has it done for me? Well, until a couple of years ago, frankly, I really couldn't pin down anything specific. I couldn't say I got a result. I got business out of blogging. I've seen a number of blogs that have gotten lots of business. I've seen others that have just kind of not, and I was looking for something like that. In other words, I couldn't say that a reader bought anything from me. But in the past couple of years, I've been more diligent about asking clients where they found me, and some are now pointing to the blog. For example, last year, 2016, Trade Show Guy exhibits did 3 significant projects from companies that found us strictly through the blog, and it led to business. And frankly, that was a lot of business for us during the year. So this year, not the case. So it's interesting to see how that goes. This year, it's a different story. Most of the business we get, and frankly, it's better than last year, comes from repeat business and referral business from current clients. So anyway, that's another story. I love blogging. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's not that hard either. It's a good challenge, and I'm sure it's helped me become a better writer along the way, as well as a much better informed writer. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm headed out on a short vacation to hang out in an Airbnb house in Central Oregon for couple days with the family, and then next week I'll be podcasting and blogging from Vegas on Monday morning at the IFT. So I like to shut down the show, close the podcast, the vlog with one good thing. Now here's this week's one good thing. A friend gave me a book for my birthday, which was a week or so ago. Birthday's called Cornflakes with John Lennon. Robert Hilburn was the author. Now Robert Hilburn was the longtime well-known rock and music reviewer for the Los Angeles Times, starting in the late 60s, early 70s. It was with them 25, 30, 35 years. He's since retired, I think, about 10 years ago from that, left the Times. I'm a big fan of music. This is a great book, lots of insight, tons of great stories, fun stories, folks like John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, Elton John, Kurt Cobain, and much more. Good stuff. So that's this week's One Good Thing. So have a great week, and I'll catch you next week from Las Vegas.